Why Stephen King's Holly Gibney is finally getting her own haunted spotlight. It has been over 3 years since the news first broke, but the upcoming TV series centered on Stephen King's most beloved modern creation is still shrouded in the kind of eerie silence fans have come to expect from a master of horror mystery. Yet, the project is alive. According to recent production updates, the television adaptation of King's 2023 novel Holly remains in active development, led by director Jack Bender, a veteran of the Kingverse who previously helmed episodes of Mr. Mercedes and The Outsider. If it feels like you've seen Holly Gibney before, you have, but never like this. The birth of a reluctant hero. To understand why this particular adaptation is worth the agonizing wait, one has to look back at where Holly started. She debuted in the 2014 novel Mr. Mercedes not as a hero, but as a nervous, chain-smoking recluse living in her mother's shadow. King has described her as an obsessive-compulsive with a huge inferiority complex. When retired detective Bill Hodges first meets her, he dismisses her as Holly the Mumbler, a woman with seemingly not a single scrap of wit. But Holly did something that King's characters rarely do. She refused to stay in the background. She just walked on in the first book, King told NPR in 2020, and she more or less stole the book, and she stole my heart. Over the course of 7 stories, from the Bill Hodges trilogy to The Outsider, the novella If It Bleeds, and the solo novels Holly, 2023, and Never Flinch, 2025, Holly has evolved from a supporting act into the definitive King protagonist of the 21st century. She is the anti-Roland Discane. While the gunslinger is stoic and mythic, Holly is anxious, neurotic, and desperately human. She weaponizes her neurodivergence, turning savant-like memory and obsessive observation into detective tools that outpace any forensic lab. Two faces of the same coin. One of the fascinating hurdles for the new series is the multiverse of Holly's face. Audiences have already seen 2 radically different, equally brilliant takes on the character. Justine Lupe played her in Mr. Mercedes, 2017 to 2019, as a bundle of physical awkwardness and nervous energy. Then, Cynthia Erivo took over for The Outsider, 2020, presenting a more intellectual, assured version of the detective, a performance that earned her award nominations. Erivo has expressed interest in returning to the role, but the upcoming Jack Bender project is expected to be a standalone adaptation of the 2023 novel, leaving the door open for a third actress to take up the mantle, or for a surprising return. The controversy of Holly. So, why the delay? Unlike the supernatural specters of The Outsider, the villains in Holly are flesh and blood, and terrifyingly political. The novel, set during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, sees Holly grieving her mother, who died after refusing the vaccine. The plot follows a pair of seemingly mild-mannered elderly professors, the Harrises, who are kidnapping and murdering vulnerable people in their basement. The book is unflinching in its commentary. It name-drops the January 6 Capitol attack, systemic racism, and the political divisions of the Trump era. It is, arguably, the most, now, book King has ever written, but that timeliness has made it a hot potato in the current entertainment landscape. Adapting a story where the villainy is tied to ideological extremism and a global health crisis is a tightrope walk that many studios are hesitant to attempt. Why we need her now despite the delays, or perhaps because of them, Holly Gibney is the exact hero the screen needs in 2026. In a recent analysis of the character, critics have pointed out that Holly redefines bravery. She is not a fearless warrior. She is a 120-pound woman in her 50s who is always afraid she's going to do the wrong thing, that her zipper's gonna come undone. In the latest novel, Never Flinch, King forces her into a role as a bodyguard, a job that seems ludicrous for her skill set until she saves the day not with brute force, but with quiet, relentless logic. She represents the final evolution of King's politics, a rejection of the toxic, macho hero. As one essayist noted, men don't protect you anymore, and Holly steps into the void not because she wants to, but because she has to. Stephen King has already confirmed he is writing yet another Holly novel. He is obsessed with her because she is the ultimate survivor, not of monsters, but of the self. As she takes center stage in development for her own show, we aren't just waiting for a detective series. We are waiting for the portrait of a woman who flinches at everything but runs toward danger anyway. That is the definition of courage. And that is why, 3 years later, we are still watching for news.